Hey YouTube, it's Leah Lauder, your favorite mega church cult survivor, and I'm live. And I'm also live on TikTok and I'm also live on Instagram. So welcome everybody. I mean, you may be wondering why I'm in my bed with these beautiful diamante sunglasses in my bonnet with red lipstick. Hey Queen, hey family. The reason for this is because I've been on here and speaking about church cults for so long and so many different topics. But I was quite unaware that I had an audience unbeknown to myself that had been watching me, investigating me, looking at all my posts whilst I didn't even know that they existed. So from now on, bitch, I'm going to make sure that it gives cabaret because I want to give you a front seat. I want this to give spectacular pizzazz. I want you to have a front row seat. And obviously now that I've got settled, now that I'm aware that I have said audience watching me, I'm going to make sure that I put on a show. Lights, camera, action! Ha! Oh my God. I've got to make sure I put on a show. It's got to give Chicago. It's got to give pizzazz. It's got to give showbiz. It's got to give Hollywood. Razzmatazz. Now that I know people are watching, oh my God, I've got to make sure that it counts. Welcome, YouTube. So anyway, let's get into the topic of conversation. I've had a lot of women reach out to me this month about abuse in Christian marriages. And this is what I want to talk about today. Let me just get to the topic. Give me a sec, guys. I don't know if I've got the right bit. Yeah, anyway. So I want to mainly focus on psychological and emotional ABUSE because I feel like in the BLK communities, I don't think a lot of women that are even in these ABUSE marriages are aware that this is what they're going through. So I just want to talk about what actually happens in these Christian marriages, how we're indoctrinated. One sec, guys. Let me make sure that all right, so it's not this one. Okay, so it starts from here. I want to make sure I get this concise and clear. And also, I just think that so many women are suffering in silence, and the women that have come forward, it's like they can't speak out because they've got like kids involved, or these dusties are taking them to court, trying to take them for everything you have. Because one thing about these mandem, yeah, that have been in these places of worship, these cults, they are so dusty. They don't like to work. They don't like to do anything. They've never held down a job. They've got no accolades, no qualifications, nothing. They're just like fake entrepreneurs. That's what they'll say, that they're doing property. They'll say they're doing all types of stuff, but really they're just broke. Do you know what I mean? Because that's what they do. They do up a lot of faith, believing. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of them come from a lot of, there's a lot of psychological damage and trauma in the childhood. So a lot of the time they've been in relationships with their mother. It's like enmeshment. So they've had to be like the father of the home, etc. So we see a lot of these men are not ready to take on a father role. They're not ready to take on a husband role. And who suffers? Who suffers? The faithful, loyal wife that was there to just serve the man. And because they teach the women, and I've been there, this is, I've worn the t-shirt. Unfortunately, they turn us into pick-me's, and men don't really want that, like the pick-me's and the Barbara the Builders. So they'll use the woman like from young. It's a cycle. It's a cycle of ABUSE. So these preds, these narcissists, and they always find themselves in these spaces. Yeah, what they do is they use the young girl who's like talented, making money, focused, got the education. They ain't got nothing. And they use her to build whatever their fake entrepreneur, to save money, whatever, because these man them are sly. They'll have other accounts, yeah, and the church court will be telling the women that the men should control the finances. Do you know that there are women in these marriages where they transfer their whole paycheck into their husband's account? That's how they do things in my church court. You just have one bank account and all the money goes through the one bank account. So I've got financial records of my financial abuse in my marriage. I got them receipts, baby. I got them bank statements and whatever. I got them transactions of the flow and movement of money, baby. I got them receipts on receipts on receipts, baby. Y'all can't do it like me. Y'all can't do it like me. Woke up and I'm still in the league. I know these hoes is mad. Ooh, that came in at just the perfect point. It was like, it was so divinely orchestrated. And then Ines gave me a beautiful gift. We just had butterflies and flowers. Thank you, sis, my family. Remember, when I start processing my nan, we have to meet up, babes. All right. So let's just jump straight into it. I think it's really important, you know, for women to understand, especially women in these spaces, and you know, for women that are in these situations now, they may be in marriages with ABUSE men, they may be getting out of them, divorce. I want to let everybody know publicly that my divorce was only finalized a few months ago. All right. So if anybody has been dating my ex-husband during that time, that's adultery. All right, my loves, because the ink hasn't even dried on my divorce before people want to be introducing people to children and all of that. It's quite irresponsible and foolish, really, if you ask me. But I mean, what do I know? I'm just the one here, and I just got my mental health. That's why I keep telling you, lot, the ones with the real mental health are the ones that aren't facing the issues. They're not getting the support. They're not going and seeking therapy. They're just putting a bandage over the wound, and then they're hurting other women in the process. It's cyclical trauma and ABUSE, and it's generational. It's in epigenetics. This is why we see the same thing happening in these places and spaces of worship. There's so many people that get married, remarried, divorced within these settings, and they haven't dealt with the trauma, and they go and take all of that that trauma, all of that baggage from the past, and they just cover it. Like, you see these narcissists, they know how to wear a mask. Like, you see narcissists, they come across as the perfect upstanding citizen, so put together, so well put together, like perfect. That's why you see narcissists, they have a way of like getting you to react. Like, that's why it's called reactive narcissistic abuse, because they'll do something to get the reaction, yeah, and then they'll stand in front of you stone cold, no reaction. I told you what I said. I said what I said. They created the storm, and then when you come to confront them, I told you what I said. The worst thing that could ever happen to a woman is marrying a narcissist, because what happens is they wear a mask, and then when that mask comes off, it's too late, especially if you hold Christian values, because you can't see through the ABUSE because it's a misogynistic and patriarchal environment. So everything's covered in there. And this is why the women are just getting ABUSE'd in these marriages. All right, so let's look at what happens when there's this type of ABUSE in marriages. So some men charm and love bomb to get close. So that's what they'll do. Again, they'll create this perfect image. They'll wear this mask. Once they've secured the loyalty, once they've secured your trust, then it will then start the control and the resources. But the thing is, they do it in very subtle ways. Because you remember, especially when you're all loved up, you're going to see it as, oh, he just loves me, not putting tabs on me. But that's what narcissists do, yeah. But the worst situation is when you're a pick me and you throw yourself at a narcissist, because that's when you learn the hard way, yeah. Oh my God, I'm so sad that I didn't know I had this audience like 3 months ago, because I would have been wearing these glasses. Yeah, I would have been wearing these glasses, baby. Oh God, why didn't nobody tell me, man? Nobody invited me to the dinner, bitch. Like, where was my invitation, oh? You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, why didn't I get an invite, baby? People got me all the way after. Yeah. Woo! All right. So the real pattern begins. Idealize, the enmeshment, the control, the devaluation, the discardment. That's the roadmap of narcissistic abuse. So this is how it looks like in real life. So love bombing at first and idealization at the start, extreme attention. Also, they'll lie. They'll just lie about what they got. Yeah, they lie about who they are. They gonna lie about everything. Especially the Nige man, them. They love to say they're a prince and whatever. Y'all are all princes. Y'all are all princes. Y'all are all rich over there. Y'all, all y'all's dad is a politician. All y'all. It's only the young girls that you gonna be able to tell that same old story, that same old jazz. Absolutely human fecal matter trail. There's a very small like percentage, like in every country, top 5, top 10%, bitch, that's getting the money in, this, that, and the third. So let's just stop telling them lies out there. There was a massive apostolic visitation in Chatham last night. Was absolute carnage. What the hell are you talking about? Are my mods on here? What? This guy's in religious psychosis. He's child mods. What's going on, man? I can't be getting triggered up today. Thank you, Queen Kiko. Y'all, it's not that time of the week, man. Do you know what I mean? Like people who know what's up, especially you, Becca. You should be able to see Wagwan right now. Yeah, because those who know. So mods, please, if you're gonna be on here, Kiko, are you on here? Have you lot got my back? Prince in their small little village, innit? They're not even a prince. It's just they just want to tell themselves that chair. Flattery, promises. And that's the thing, like when you're in a marriage with like a narcissist and they're just draining your actual life source and support, you might look similar to this picture right here. That's how you look when you're in a marriage with a narcissist. So they make a lot of promises like this, that, and the third. Hey, queen, a leader, put a record on. I'm so glad I've got strong mods. Elites, we're not playing no games today. Mods, we're not on it. Oh, okay, all right. Because Spice, we're not doing that. We're not doing that, Spice. We're not doing that. Because you know, innit, read in between the lines, girl. Because real recognize real. And just please hold it down, girl. Because nobody ain't got that time for that today, chair. So over time, they'll be making these promises and never fulfill the promises. It's just broken promises. Do you get what I'm saying? Like 5 years later, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. But because they've just, because you're so brainwashed from the church cult, you're not clocking it. No, it's Leah727. Go on my main account. Go on my main account. Go on Leah Lauder 7 and you'll see it on there. Or go on my my WhatsApp status. Because I've shared the live, innit? All right. So this is all to make the partner dependent on them, on the praise. They start to get that because a lot of people like that attract narcissists, yeah, especially girls, that they're like in trauma or they're young, DUMB and vulnerable. So really and truly, like a narcissist isn't going to be able, like if a narcissist is in their 30s, like their mid to late 30s, their 40s, they're only going to get young gal below the age of 30. Do you know what I'm saying? But there's some gal up to 32 that they act more like they're 15. So I'm going to stretch it to 32, chair. They ain't going to get anyone older like a real woman. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's a bit like a divine woman, like one that's been through that understands, because that's the type of woman that they've damaged, that's woken up. So they can see through the BS. But the young gal, them, they can't see through it. They can't see through it because they're so young. So, oh, love, da, 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 and they're very good at like presenting themselves as something that they're not. A narcissist is so fake. Hey, Black. All right, so then there's a gradual takeover, controlling money, decisions, friendships, access to family, small rules at first, then bigger ones. But you have to remember with these narcissists, because the cult is already doing that, they don't really have to do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? They'll just chill and take advantage of you. So when you get these narcissists that like marry, like especially like religious women, and they don't really have that faith in God, but it's all fake. Do you know what I mean? Especially if they come from a culture that's very religious, they're narcissistic, they've got those patriarchal cultural elements in it. Do you get what I'm saying? They're just going to sit there with their feet up whilst the woman laves it out. That's why I keep saying to you that these women, once they get into these type of relationships with these energy vampires, that's it. They just start looking drained. Gaslighting, so lying, denying, rewriting events so you question your memory and sanity. Triangulation, this is a big one. This is a big one. Bringing a third person in, a girlfriend, a child, a new partner to provoke jealousy and keep you off balance. I'm going to say that one again. Triangulation. Bringing a third party in, a girlfriend, a child, a new person to provoke jealousy and keep you off balance. So ladies, if you're not in your divine feminine energy and you don't know who you are and you don't love yourself, triangulation will work. Clock it. But if you're a boss outside in these streets and you're not a bitch, then it won't work. All right. So gal them, be aware. And this isn't just husbands, because some of us, you know, some of you gal them will just have narcissistic baby daddies as well. And all it is a piece of paper, baby. Do you know what I mean? Like when you've given them that man your kids, you've had him in the yard, you've given him everything, and he's just turned out to be a dusty. You know, it's not our fault. You live and you learn. So gal them, take what resonates. But in 2025, we've got to be woke, man, because there's a lot of these recycled narcissists that are running around in these streets, yeah, after being thrown outside, back on these streets, and they ain't put in the work. They're like stray cats. And these are a lot of the guys that end up in these church cult spaces, all right? So that's why I said to you, you know, the gal them that are in there, be careful. Salute. Salute the real bitches. Salute. 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 Ooh, Cardi's album is such a vibe, but you got to be a boss to really get it. All right, so threats and intimidation, verbal threats. So a lot of the time, these men may not be putting actual hands, Miss Kiko in the car, may not be putting actual hands on their spouse, but they'll say they'll threaten them, like, I'm going to do this to you, A, B, C, D, I'm going to unalive you, this, that, and the third, yeah? Throwing objects or frightening behavior used to scare and control. So that's like a coercive control, fear-based tactic that they use. And whether they know it or not, a lot of the time, remember I said to you, the victim versus the perpetrator model, a lot of the time they've been in like homes where they've been raised with like domestic violence. They've seen like that in the home. Do you understand? So that's what they've seen. That's how they that's what they think is love. That's how they think they resolve things in relationships. Do you get it? So as an adult, it's not like they're sitting there like a cult leader thinking, oh, and remember, a lot of it is learned behavior. Because if you're dating, like if you're married to a man that's like a aborter or high up, high ranking, close to the main cult leader, whatever, that's when it gets sticky and techie. Guys, do you know how many women? Let me tell you something. The worst cases of eating from the Great Bowl, essay, like all of the stuff to do with that I've heard since I've been doing this it's been mogs, porsters, it's been those type of men that have their own church cults. It's the guys. If I can't say it obviously because it's confidential. Mods, are you on deck? Sorry, I don't respond to you. I don't. You're used to dealing with cheap girls from the ghetto. Yeah, I'm ghetto bougie. I'm not cheap ghetto. I'm ghetto bougie. I don't respond to you, and I don't respond to Miss. All right. We all live and we learn, though. A lot of them are young, DUMB, and naive. Financial exploitation. This is a big one. Because in a lot of these places of worship, these cults, yeah, the men don't have nothing. And they build off the women. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like they try and take the women to court for the house. They try and take women for the court. And another thing that they do is they like to maintain control. So I've heard stories of like, there's an account with a wife that I'm supporting at the moment. She's given me consent to share this. And she's got like, it's like a council home situation. And it's like the husband's moved on, got his own place, but he won't take himself off the tenancy. It's like those type of things that they'll do to control the ex-wife. And then they bring in new partners to create triangulation. And that partner's none the wise. They're not there thinking, you know, the husband won't get himself off the tenancy because all he wants to do is it's about control, because narcissists have to control. It's an ego thing. They like triangulation. It's power. It's not. And when these narcissists do up triangulation, it's not actually about the women, because all they care about is themselves. They need the chaos. It's about the chaos, because that's how they thrive. Do you understand what I'm saying? So that's what it becomes about. They want to break you down. They want to get you off balance. They want you to lose your mind. They want you to like unalive yourself. That's what they want to do. So in my cult, how it worked in the marriages, if you were a spiritual daughter of house and I was, you would transfer all your wages to your husband. And he would manage all of the finances. There's been a lot of women who are in severe debt because husbands have taken out cars. Thank you, Queen Elites. Because a lot of these guys, they're just dusty. They haven't got no qualifications. They come with no work experience. They come with nothing. It's the wives, my love. It's the wives that are secure. They're the main breadwinners and earners. So those men, them are dusty. Nobody wants them back, chair. Good luck. Good luck to you, oh my darling. The hills are alive with the sound of music. The songs we have sung for 1,000 years. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Oh, people got me all the way off the chair. People got me, that people trying to take me out of character. Child, if I don't laugh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I just have to go into character, because if I don't do this, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Because I feel like I'm in a parallel universe. People be playing with me left, right, and center, man. I gotta wake up. Wake me up, man. Somebody wake me up, child, because this can't be real. This can't be real, collective. There's no way in hell. There's no way that this is real. Alrighty. Let's get back onto what we were talking about. So as I said in my cult, there's a little book called Model Marriage. And actually what I think I'm going to do this week, so everybody's abreast, up to date, fully informed. And in case people have forgotten, I just want to make sure that everybody remembers correctly. So what I'm going to be doing is just selecting some points from Model Marriage, because I was a spiritual daughter of the house. So I stuck to that book to a T. And I just, as I'm sitting here and reflecting and I'm, healing, I'm just thinking to myself, what type of animal, what type of man would sit in those marriage counseling sessions and think that this was appropriate? They got to have a misogynistic or patriarchal mind, but I mean, what do I know? Especially if they haven't healed, they just have that said mindset when they've left the setting. The thing about me is, a lot of people like to profile me. They like to judge me. They like to put me in a box. And yes, I do kick off and I do whatever. But let me tell you something. My greatest strength and my superpower is that my whole life, people have underestimated me. And it just works like a charm every time, you see. Because babe, let's get back onto it. So the financial exploitation is very bad. It was the main way I was exploited in the church cult. When I met my ex-husband, I was fully secured in my job. I was only, how old was I, like 25. I was making over 35 grand a year, which was really good those times, because remember, this is like back in 2012, and I just worked my way up the ladder and kept earning, and my pay kept going up and up and up and up and up. And a lot of the time, the women come with that, very stable, like their background, their work. And what happens when you're carrying a dusty on your back is that you won't like elevate or succeed the way that you should, because it's like you're carrying someone else. You're not like equally progressing together and both putting in the work. And because a lot of these men that they make these women marry, it's arranged marriages, they're marrying young, they don't know what they're doing. These men are not ready to be a husband, to be a leader. They've got so much trauma and psychological damage. They're not ready for any of this. And that's what I'm saying. They sell you a dream when it comes to the marriages. They sell you a dream. And then a lot of the time, the guys that are in there, they've taken on the pseudo personality of the cult leader. So they have now become the cult leader. So they are just an actual psycho. I'm loving that you fully take your power back unapologetically. Thank you, babe. Like, no one's going to try and come in and be, it's just not that, babe. Behind closed doors, they ABUSE their women. Yeah, they all do. They all do, babe. They all do. That's what the worst ones are, the ones in these places of worship. They're the worst ones that you will find. I swear, like, I will never marry again. But you see, the men, they will marry again because like these narcissists, they need a supply. They can't be without a woman. That's what I'm saying to you. Like, we, like, as females, we can be without a man, but men cannot be without a woman. They can't. They can't survive. Like, they need women. All right. And then another thing that they do is, because they say like your money's together and things like that, you may not be able to like notice financial ABUSE, because if you're paying all the bills, or the bills and everything's coming out of your money, and your husband's paying like a few of the other bills or whatever, because the money's together, you're seeing it as it's one. What's mine is yours, and what's yours is mine. But when you see when they make their money, do you get what I'm saying? They soon forget who's back they built their life off, you know, them ones. So young gal, then my advice to you would be, don't build up a man. Don't build up a man. They won't respect you. Hoarding blame. The abuser never owns wrongdoing. They project it onto you and punish anyone who objects. That's why they can't, like these narcissists, especially when they're divorced, they can't get with like a strong older woman that's healed. It'll be young gal, because it's only young DUMB naive gal them that will be sitting there and listening to Matt. Like it won't clock to them that, oh my God, like if he's talking about his wife like this, his ex-wife or whatever, do you know what I mean? Then he's just a bitch. they won't think like that because they haven't got the life experience. I would never build up a man. Babe, I'm never getting with a man again. Do you know what I'm saying? My first and last love was Jason. How could I be married to a man for 10 years, come out of this disassociative state in 20 years and be like, Jason was the only man who really held me down? How can I say that? My own husband that I've got kids with, my own ex-husband that I was with for almost 10 years couldn't even hold me down. Jason was such a man. Do you know what I mean? He was such a provider. He was so selfless. Like, and it's just so sad because I've got to deal with all of this aftermath of my marriage and everything. And it's like, it just makes me think about Jason more, man. It's so unfair. Life can be so unfair, man. All right. Hovering and baiting. After they discard you, the abuser comes back with soft behaviors to pull you back in when it suits them. Because they're crazy. These narcissists are crazy, man. Honestly, like, they're sick. Like, they'll come to you smiling. Why are you smiling, B? You and me, we ain't cool. Why are you coming there smiling? I'm telling you, like narcissists are they do crazy stuff because they get like a thrill out of certain things. I don't know how to explain it. And I want to let like the wives know, the victims that have, you know, experienced narcissistic abuse in marriages, especially Christian ones, because it's all of the doctrine that comes. It keeps you in these ABUSE unalived marriages. Okay. So I want you to know that none of this is your fault. These are learned survival and pred tactics. The person who uses them chooses them because they work to get control. So let's look at the psychology and the brain around all of this. Yeah. So when someone is insecure and ashamed, they often hide it by attacking others. So a lot of the time, like the coupling, especially in these cults, yeah, the man won't have like as much money, earning as much as the wife, whatever, and they become really insecure and they can project it. They can become abusive. There's loads of wives survivors that I have where their husbands that they're currently with are putting hands on them, but they can't leave. They've been in ABUSE relationship, guys. There's so many mad stories, like things that I can't disclose. So this is a real issue within these spaces. And the children are the ones that suffer the most. It's so sad. Guys, I'm going to come off soon because I need to go and finish my hair. But I just wanted to come on and share a little something. And this is going to be the series that I'm going to be doing all week. So I'll just continue sharing. So projection is the mind's primitive defense. If I call you jealous, I don't have to feel my own shame. The fact, you know, it could be underlying things like I don't feel like a man, my ego's been bruised, whatever it is. And then, you know, they feel like they need to make the other person jealous or care or feel something. Like narcissists have very dark, warped minds. Chronic stress, so fear, hypervigilance, it shuts down the part of the brain that helps regulate behavior. So people become more reactive, impulsive, and cruel when they feel threatened. Okay. But you got to remember, a narcissist can create a whole storm and then stand there in the storm like stone cold still, like they've not done anything. That's usually what they do. Trauma bonding, unpredictable cycles of kindness plus abuse creates a strong emotional hook. So they and you got to remember, with the doctrine in there, everything's the woman's fault. The woman's the Jezebel, like this, that, and the third. So even when the man is ABUSE and the woman will be like, because remember, you see ABUSE as love. So the wife will be like going to the man, apologizing, wanting forgiveness from the man because the man's the head, even though he's done wrong. So that is where a lot of women are getting ABUSE in their marriage, and they're not identifying it. They're not able to detect it and see it because of the severe indoctrination. Then remember, you've got the amygdala brain, the prefrontal cortex, you've got all of that going in. So that's already like you were, and that's the reason why I got married. I got engaged in 2 months and married in under a year, because I had been in there for years by that time, like maybe 8-9 years, and my amygdala and hippocampus brain were just completely fried. And my nervous system was all effed up. I would have never married that man, not in a million years. He wasn't my type. I wasn't attracted to him. It was because of what the cult said. And I thought he was like the perfect man according to what the cult had said, because they're all narcissists. Don't you get it? So that's why I thought, oh yeah, this is my husband. It's a literal projection onto you, so you can play into their character for a sense of control. Yeah. And the thing is, the narcissists, they won't see that, they don't see that they're narcissists. Remember, because they don't get any help. They think everyone and their son's auntie and uncle's neighbor is the issue apart from themselves. Because remember, a narc thinks they're perfect. They love themselves. They're in love with themselves. They can't do any wrong. Like, that's the issue. And the thing is with narcs, they want like that reputation, that respect, that all of that stuff matters to them. Like that, how people see them and whatever. They really do seek validation. They care about it a lot. So I'm going to go into a bit with the series where they can even use the children as a source of control over their partner, but not because they don't love anyone. Narcissists can't love. They don't love anyone. It's all about like the ego. It's all about the feed of supply. It's not, so you can't get happy when you're with a narc. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Because it's never about you. It's always about what they can get out of the situation, how they can profit, how they can gain. And that's why you'll see that the cult leaders are narcs, and they're arranging the marriages with all the women that are, doing well. So guys, they're getting women to marry guys who don't even have status in the country. Oh my God. Guys, the stories I've heard about wives, that have married these guys and they've had no visas. Oh my God. And they've treated them dirty. Guys, and they're getting these women to marry these men with no prenups, nothing involved. Because remember, the men have nothing. They come from nothing. But the women are the ones who can get out the mortgages, get out the credit, get the cars on the lease, get all of that. So the men use the women for that, get them to take out everything on credit, rinse them dry, get them into debt, then leave them, discard them, and then go and get a young thing. A young little pretty DUMB thing walking around. A little beautician from, Essex. A girl that does beauty. Them preds, they love a gal that does beauty. Yeah. Babe, these people have led me to be an atheist. Is that your choice from deconstruction? This might be a bit personal. Are you happy with that choice? Or is it like there's just too much trauma, so you're just like, that's it, just forget it? Like, I can't. Because I get that. I get it. And it does really resonate because, but you know what my thing is? You know what? You like the cult and all that, but my thing is like, betrayal. Just from people that you thought you could trust. Betrayal, that's like cut so deep. Anyway, I'm a firm believer in karma. What comes around goes around, baby. We can turn our betrayal into redirection and power. Oh, I love my sister. Thanks, Tony Lee. I really appreciate that. Can someone pin that, please? Imagine the pastor calling a man a DEVIL because he stopped giving tithe. That's the kind of stuff that they do. The guy was struggling financially. Oh no. And he was given 6K a month. What the hell? Before that. Oh, you know why? because it's the amount of money that he was given. It's the 6K, because that's a lot. You gotta remember, with the tithe, yeah, with the tithe, it's bread and butter. So they're expecting that same money like every month. That's their salary. That's their income. That's their main income. That's their bread and butter. There are times we have 10K. What? Oh shit. You get sometimes you gave 10K. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. They did you dirty. They did all of us dirty though. Because you see, when you're in those environments, you're just going to attract leeches. That's why most of the marriages are just bounded choice. Do you know? Because more than a third of those guys in the church cult, if they weren't marrying one of them Barbara the Builders, them desperate pick-meshas, or a young DUMB girl that's never had her heart broken, they're not getting no wife. Not me as a guy I know. Oh, he said they rinsed the guy. But at least he's still not in their giving chair. There's still people in their giving. Wow. The pastors are projecting because they know he sends a lot of money. Yeah. And they want the money. That's all they care about. All right. I'm going to go and have a little break soon. They made him split up with his wife too. Is that because he was leaving and she didn't want? Yeah. Because when one of the spouses start to leave, they start to get their claws into the other one. It's so sad, isn't it? He couldn't afford it anymore. Of course, that's a lot of money. That's all they do is bleed you dry. And the man them in there, they love to rinse out their wives. Oh my God. Them man them are princesses in there. They'll just sit on the sofa all day whilst their wife does all the work. The wife will come. I've had wives say that they've been at work all day, they've come back and the husband's just sitting on the couch. Yeah, they'll start to promote the other spouse. Yeah. He couldn't see any improvement on the church. Oh, and he was given all that money and they weren't putting no improvement. Wow. So they can cement and prevent them from leaving. Ooh. Also, he started opening his eyes and he just saw that it was just a scam. And then he stopped. Wow. And that's the thing. A lot of us, we can't get back, the money and the stuff that we gave. But, it is what it is, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody gets thinged in their life once, innit? Like, they do you over. But one thing I know is you can't play a player. People think they can play me, but they can't. Now he's financially struggling. Oh, God, this is hurting my heart. And they're mocking him. Yeah, because he's left, innit? So it's like they've rinsed him dry. And now that he's left, oh, God, he did it for years. Oh, wow. Yeah, the financial exploitation in these cults is absolutely crippling. Oh, my God. I've had people who have sold their house. They sold their house like 20 years ago. And if they'd kept that house, it would have been an investment of like over £1 million now. You know, when people were buying their houses back in the 80s and the 90s and they sold it to invest in these places of worship, they've robbed people of their that was like someone's like retirement like plan. And no one's able to save because they just bleed you dry. You always have to pay for something. Why don't people report to the PO though? I guess it's the mind control. Yes, the mind control is the guilt. It's also, how do you prove it? You've got all these transfers, but how do you prove that? You know what I'm saying, babe? It's like, that's why the laws need to be changed, like that, how they look at coercive control, and it will happen in time. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, even with the coercive control, it's like text messages, any emails, like correspondence. Like, I've got correspondence to show them coercing me to pay for, like, that Christmas like dinner with my own money. That's because I was communicating with the hotel. I've got the transfers of the money to the hotel, things like that. But not everybody will have that. It's so hard to like prove unless you've got like recorded messages. The pastor built a big house in Africa. It's always the same story, innit? There was a woman that gave her house and her land, which was given. It was like an inheritance for them to build, for the church. And the dad gave it to Bishop Eddie Addy, and he built a big family home on it. That's the kind of stuff they do, man. It's pure EVIL. All right. Then we've got trauma bonding. So in these abusive, no, I'm not. In these abusive marriages, there's trauma bonding. Unpredictable cycles of kindness plus abuse creates a strong emotional hook. The brain starts to chase those moments of kindness like a reward. That's why it's so hard to leave or stop hoping that they'll change. So a lot of the women are like hoping and praying that these guys will change. You know, they also see it as if they leave the guy, they're going to go to HELL, that they'll always be seen as married. They've got like all of that. Do you know what I mean? It's like all of that programming in the mind. If a partner refuses therapy or refuses to take responsibility, those wounds never get processed. The abuser keeps reusing the same tactics because they are unhealed and unaccountable. So what happens is it's the same cycle. So that's why I say like someone like me can't get duped. Do you understand what I'm saying? By a guy who ain't got his ish together. But what they will do is come for you, young queens, and use the same tactics that they used on me. Do you understand what I'm saying? And then the cycle just keeps happening. So that's why I say focus on self-love and focus on yourself. So if you meet a man and he's never done therapy and he's got an ex-wife, red flag. I'm gonna be doing my red flags for women that might date, a divorcee and they haven't been married before, because I think it's really important, the women, the queens out there that haven't experienced a knock, they won't be aware of these things, but that's a major red flag. If a man has been married in a marriage and the marriage has ended and they haven't done therapy, no sort of therapy, it's a major red flag, especially if the wife is known and like out here talking about healing and deconstructing and deprogramming. Yeah. All right. So now we're going to get into why refusing therapy or healing matters. The husband who won't change. This is the title. The husband who won't change. Because there's a lot of women in these ABUSE marriages, dynamics of relationships, thinking that this man is going to change, and he blood clot ain't. So leave it to the young gal them to get the scars and get the trauma and keep it pushing and moving. Don't allow yourself to be used as a pawn. Don't allow yourself to do up triangulation. Shut it down, block them. Because the best way to go with a narc is absolutely no contact. Left him to go and chase young coochie, the girl none the wiser, DUMB, young and naive. Left it there. My nan always said, those that don't hear must feel. You get on with yourself, queen. Go and build yourself up. Do what you're doing up. Don't watch no face, child. Let the universe, let the wheel of karma take control, jail. So when the husband refuses therapy, this refuses real accountability. So they're walking around with scars. They never see where they go wrong or blames everyone else. This is what happens. So he will keep repeating the same patterns. Nothing changes. The cycle continues. He models emotional avoidance to the children. So because they don't feel, they don't ask, they don't name it. So that teaches the kids that pain must be hidden and not or acted out. So that's where the emotions are controlled. And this is where a lot of second gen, oh, my head's getting hot. A lot of second gen church cult members will experience this. Like especially in ABUS households, where there's like disorganized attachment, there's unsecure attachment, you'll find that they'll have this. How many times can I say sorry and I mean? How many times can I take my love for you as a weakness? How many times are we going without therapy, there's no rebuilding of empathy, impulse, control, or healthy conflict skills. The abuser's default is control, shame, punish. So instead of getting the healing, instead of working through the trauma, he internalizes entitlement, believing he deserves obedience, and uses religion, money, and threats to keep that entitlement in place. So this is why a lot of men won't leave religion, because it's like their safety blanket. It's their green pass to ABUSE women. They have control. They have power that doesn't exist out of that self-sealing system. Okay. So I just don't feel I couldn't do. As I said, my first and last love was Jason. But if I was going to do it again, I could never go for a religious man. I just see them as weak and cowards. I just couldn't do it. Sorry. It's not a bit of me. It's not a bit of me, chair. Guys, my hair's half done. Look. I've got my brother's first baby mum. She's coming. She's like family. She's like a sister. She's coming to help me do the rest of this. But I am feeling the black because I'm not in a blonde mood. Do you know what I mean? I'm just out to just. I'm not here. I'm not here for it. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to take the higher ground. I'm not going to be the bigger person. If you do something for me, like I'm on an eye for an eye, like I ain't got time for that, man. Because there's been too much. Oh, take the higher ground. They'll do this. They'll do it for the sake of this. For the sake. It's just like, no, man. No, man. If you ain't good, it's like. Each time he refuses help, the family's trauma temperature stays high. More shouting, more secrecy, more fear. So a lot of these men, they're not aware of their trauma, and in these marriages, you know, it'll just be building up. It will be very ABUSEF, and because it's like it's repeated cycles, they've most likely seen that in their home. You know, that's what they've experienced in childhood trauma. So it's just cycles repeating. So let's look at this repeated cycle, the cycle of abuse, how it repeats and how it escalates. So attraction, idealization, and so initially it's like this attraction and the idealization of that, because narcissists can't survive on their own. The abuser gets supply because they need supply. So control tactics begin: isolation, money rules, victim pushes back or tries to leave, abuser escalates threats, triangulation and punishments. So because you've got to remember, these knocks are crazy. So in their mind, they can be in relationships with people, can feel, you know, that they're so fragile. They've got such a fragile ego. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And they're fake. They're not able to like talk about, they can't process feelings and emotions because they don't feel them. So it's only when their ego or their pride or their toxic masculinity is bruised and hurt, that's when they'll do up triangulation. That's when they'll do up things to get like a narcissistic, reactive, abusive, outcome from you. So you've got to be G'd up. Thanks, Ella. I've been watching the hair blogs looking fag. Oh, thanks, babe. I've got another one to put up. So, you know, wives that have narcissistic husbands, narcissistic ex-husbands, you're trying to co-parent. I'm going to be vlogging my healing journey because my ex-husband's a nightmare. And, you know, I've got to have an outlet. I think mainly it's going to be through my music. But I will be doing like a few vlogs and stuff, because if you like, I'm bait, innit? If you want to be doing things in these streets and you're not informing me, then I'm just going to be talking like our business all on the internet, because now you got people knowing my business that I don't even bloody know about. Do you know what I'm saying? Oh, they stopped the live. Instagram stopped the live. We'll just go again. That's fine. I like black on you. Oh, thank you, babe. Oh, Insta, I just had to start again because I've been exposing my narc ex-husband. So I think that it's either him or someone associated to him trying to get me off live. But nonetheless, I'm back. I think I'm just going to mute the music, because when they do report it up, it is mainly because I've got the music playing. Girl, I'm just going to block you because I know you're associated to them and it just got lock off. So, you know, I'm not here for that. You know, them ones. I'm not playing with nobody, baby. Like, they don't know this, Leah. They don't know this, Leah, mate. Anyway. All right. It's even nicer with the silence, isn't it? Oh, it's so refreshing. So the abuser hovers or discards and repeats the same cycle with someone new, or repeats with the same partner, restarting the cycle. Without therapy or accountability, the cycle doesn't heal. It metastasizes. Yeah, I'm fine, my love. Thank you, Ange. How are you, my darling? How this trauma affects children and what survivors must know. Because some of these narc husbands or ex-husbands, they try and take the wives to court for like custody of the kids and things like that. I've got a lot of survivors that are going through this, that have been through this, because they use the kids as a form of control, but they'll be acting like they're the number one stand-up dad, but that's all about control. So kids are not small adults. They absorb, threat, and model what they see. These are common effects. So attachment insecurity. Children learn that adults are unpredictable and may become clingy, anxious, or emotionally shut down. We've got hypervigilance. Children become watchful for danger. They may be jumpy, anxious, or have trouble sleeping. So a lot of the time, guys, there'll be a lot of kids, especially the PKs. They have a lot of trauma. There's a lot of some of them have had to even. Some of them have even been in cams from like such a young age because of the deliverance and all of the traumatic events that they've experienced in these settings. Then we've got emotional dysregulation, acting out at school, bullying others, or being excessively controlling in friendships are common. And also, you know, there's that leadership thing that they do up, so that the kids, that there's like there's that adultification of children, and they can't form like normal relationships as well. Intergenerational transmission, so unresolved trauma often passes down unless children get safe therapeutic intervention. Yeah. So financial abuse, what it looks like and why it traps people. So withholding money, forcing transfers, controlling household accounts, or demanding you sign paperwork are always ways to keep you dependent. And that's what they do. They put it as one. Like they say, oh, the husband and the wife have become one. And a lot of the wives have receipts as well around the financial ABUSE, because there's a lot of transfers. There's been a lot of bank stuff. There's a lot of evidence. There's a lot of receipts. There's a lot of paperwork. Economic ABUSE often happens quietly. I'll manage the bills becomes you have no access. So what these narcs like to do is have you completely dependent on them. So they'll do everything. They'll be paying the bills. You'll be paying all of your whole paycheck to them. Then they manage everything. So what happens is if the wives, so it makes it really, really difficult for the wives to leave because they're totally dependent on the man. Even if they are the main financial breadwinner and earner, the man will be like mowing the lawn, picking up the kids, doing everything. Do you know what I mean? Like the bills, servicing, getting the car service. So when the woman like leaves the husband, if she gets the strength to do that, because not a lot of women in these settings do, then what it turns into is they feel like a child. They don't know how to get a car service. They don't know how to do anything because they want to make you completely codependent on them. All right, guys, I'm going to finish up for now, and then I'm going to come back. So financial control removes options for safety like leaving, which is often the core tactic underpinning other ABUSE. So practical steps: immediate safety and longer term protection. Safety and documentation. So wives, CULs, wives keep evidence, screenshots, messages, bank statements, recordings. I have all of these. I've kept all of these. So if you need to do it, my loves, make sure that you do. And also, if there's if it's like physical ABUSE or where you don't feel safe, make a safety plan, pack a bag, have a safe place to go, trusted neighbors, and people who can help at short notice. So healing requires honesty and work. For this reason, women need to only have the amount of kids they can handle if they become single. Yeah, 100%. 100%, 100%. You're absolutely right. And that's how, like, ladies, one piece of advice I will give you, even if you're like a church culture and you're on my FYP, even if you're married, you've always got to see it like you've got your kids back, because we have given birth to these kids. They have become one with us. Whether it's the father, whatever, they'll never have the love like the maternal love of being one with your child. That's why, you know, most of these men, when they get divorced, they just get another gal, have another child, and get on with it. It's always the women that have to hold down their kids. It's the women that have to be emotionally strong for their youths. It's the women. It's the women. It ain't the men. It ain't the men. That's when you see their true colors, share. When you divorce them or you break up with them and you have kids with them, that's when you see what they're really about in these streets, share. And when they leave, they're a mess because they never saw divorce on the cards. Marriage does not stop you from being made single. Men can leave regardless of the status. Your kids will be the ones that suffer, so please be wise if you're seeing this. Ooh. Wow. And it's true, guys. And that's why you can't be completely codependent on these men, letting them do, like, being your emotional crutch. Because then when they leave, you just fall apart like jelly. Like having, like, it's so deep, man. So a person who refuses therapy or responsibility chooses avoidance and blame instead of growth. In a marriage, that refusal is violence in slow motion. He refuses to look at his part without insight, patterns repeat. He blames you. He blames you, externalizes responsibility, and calls your objections attacks. That's how they get in your mind. Like, they gaslight you, these narcs, and they make you feel like you're the problem, and they can't care for them on their own. It's so sad. It's so true, because they have all them kids in it, like trying to be loved by the man. And then when they have all them kids and the man leaves or he's not around because he's with the mistress, they can't handle it. And the kids end up growing up messed up, emotionally scarred. It's so true. Yeah, it's a trap. That's what they do in the cults. Hey, Miss CHM. Yeah. That's why I'm so glad I only had 2 kids, man. I'm so happy. He refuses to regulate without learning emotional regulation. He escalates, threatens, and uses rage to avoid feeling shame. He refuses to repair. Forgiveness and repair require accountability. Without it, apologies are empty or manipulative, because they never think it will be them until it's them. Woo! I'm really happy I had 2 kids as well. Yeah. CB, I always think if I just had one more, I don't know, that would have just sent me off, because it would have been too much. I would have had one so young. Like, you know, when the kids start getting to like double digits, 9, you don't really need to chat to them. We don't need to chat to them like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, we've done what we needed to do. My ex-shepherd right there. Oh, is it? Oh my God. Oh, yeah. 2 is enough, child. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's just like, these men ain't human fecal matter, man. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like, gal, them, focus on yourself. I guarantee you guys, in a couple of years, it's just going to be mainly things to do with women, I think. Like women fellowship gatherings, things like that. That's what I foresee for the future. Just focus on ourselves, ladies. Focus on building your businesses and your side hustles and stuff. I think it will be a very different world, you know, in 10 years. You have 2 hands and 2 feet. Haha, 2 is the perfect number for many. Oh, that's my sister, everybody. He refuses to model healthy relationships. Children see a man who avoids feelings and uses control, and then they can either copy that behavior or grow up distrustful. But remember, the narc sees no wrong. They love themselves. They're obsessed with themselves. So they think everybody else is the problem, a part of themselves. And that's their main, like, destructive trait. And that's why they'll go for young, DUMB, naive women. They'll definitely be under 30 years old. They don't know a damn thing, no matter how good they look. It's about the brain. It's about the brain. It's about the wisdom and the trials that you've come through. I wanted to let you know that that was absolutely freestyled. Hey, Jay. The result is predictable chaos, fractured family life, kids who struggle to form safe attachments, and an emotional legacy that follows the children into adult life. Thank you, Jay. But because the narcs don't heal and they don't feel, and there's no empathy and there's no, do you know what I mean? It's like us as the queens, you know, unless the woman's a narc, we have to be the one to really hold it down. Do you know what I'm saying? Because these narc men will sell their kids for a piece of coochie, a plate of coochie. Do you know what I'm saying? They'll F up like their childhood arrangements, their fragile existing relationship that they've got with the mother of their child for a plate of coochie and a piece of young DUMB naive ass. Do you know what I mean? That's all they gonna do. That's how they gonna do, queens. So make sure you can hold down your youths with or without the father. They can manipulate the young gal them. Oh yeah, of course. That's why I'm glad I was raised by a queen, because my mum raised four kids as a single mum. So I mean, if my mum can do it with 4, I can definitely do it with 2, my love. Keep playing with me. It's your prerogative. Do what you gonna do. It's your prerogative. All right. If a partner won't get help, the family's only real option for safety and help is to build external supports and boundaries. The person unwilling to change will keep the home in the same toxic pattern until he is either forced into accountability by outside systems, e.g. legal consequences, losing access to children, therapy, court orders, etc., or until he chooses to do the real hard work. So what survivors need to know: your feelings, your anger, your grief, your rage, your shame are valid. You were abused and your body and mind knows it. Especially if you've been in a marriage where the man has financially abused and exploited you, like to the point where he's left you in so much debt. To rebuild your life, it's going to take like a miracle, like them vibes. And then he's gone on to like build his life and have like other gal sitting in the car that's that your money paid for. Them ones, like things like that, like the Cardi B situation, because there's just a lot of bitches outside in these streets, yeah. And a lot of them are in these places and spaces of worship, unfortunately. So for a lot of women, unfortunately, they've just had to like learn the hard way. And my heart goes out to all of you queens, including myself. All right. We rise, we'll make it. So you don't have to convince him to change, to save yourself or your children. Safety and recovery start with you and with protecting the kids. So anyone that's in it like, oh, I'm with him for the kids, that's human fecal matter, leave. You need to leave. I had to choose myself because I didn't want my kids growing up in a dysfunctional household. Yeah. But with narcs, you're the enemy, you're the bad person. Everything's on you. It's all you. And they're very good. They're very good at creating like this perfect civil servant. Like they're like chameleons. They can camouflage and they act so like everything. Like they're so perfect, but it's all a mask. It's all a mask from who they truly are, man. Healing is possible. With safety, therapy, and community, survivors rebuild boundaries, teach children healthy ways to relate, and stop the cycle in its tracks. And on that note, I'm going to end it here. I'm going to come back and talk about the narcissistic partner. I'm going to be talking about the common tactics explained, why these tactics work. So we're going to be looking at the psychology and neuroscience behind it, the husband who won't do the work, what that means and why the cycle continues. And guys, if you have a girlfriend or someone that's been married to a narc or is married to a narc or is coming out from a messy divorce or whatever it is, because as I said, I've only been like legally divorced a couple of months ago. Certain man them won't even wait for the ink to dry until they start bringing gal that they haven't even known for that long around their youth them. You get me? Because as I said, you see with a narc, especially when it comes to divorce, in the divorce proceedings, that's when you really see a narc, because they want to control you. Then as soon as they get a new supply, they start to give you everything that you want. That's the same thing that happened to me. So as soon as a narc gets a new supply, then he'll give you his divorce. All of a sudden, he's got the money to do it. All of a sudden. And they still try to control and financially abuse you. So some women have come out of the marriages, and they've been financially abused by the ex-husband, come out with nothing. And then the ex-husbands have started to build themselves up. Do you understand what I'm saying? Doing the bare minimum so that they can build themselves up. And then the woman is just left in poverty, and they'll leave the woman to struggle, even though the woman built them up because that woman was the main breadwinner. That's the kind of stuff that narcissists do. So before you gal them go rushing into these marriages and rushing to marry divorcee men, and you haven't met their wives and you want to be doing up birthday parties with their kids, next time you should maybe have a bit of a brain to think, oh, how am I going to be around kikiing with someone's youths and I'm getting smashed, I'm getting my back blown out by this youth, but I don't even know the mother. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, but people like that must be young, DUMB, and naive. That's the only thing I can think of. You're either mentally impaired and insane, or you're young, DUMB, and you don't know a damn thing. And on that note, I'm going to go. Love you all. I'll be back in a few hours. TikTok, bye. Love you very much. Mwah. Instagram, bye. I hope you've all got a front seat and I hope you enjoyed the show. Bye. Bye, YouTube. I hope you've enjoyed the live. I'll see you shortly. Bye-bye. Bye. Bye. See you soon.